events like dock diving, fast cat racing, obedience, and the thrilling best of show competition. It's fun for all ages. Check out the vendors and find the best pet supplies for your furry friends. It's the perfect weekend for dog lovers and families alike. Sponsored by Royal Canin at 540 AM WAUK. Visit WaukeshaSummerSplash.com for all the details. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Stephanie Bloomingdale, president of the Wisconsin AFL-CIO. The Big Brutal Bill is basically an all-out assault on working Americans.
No tax on tips. It's not as good as it sounds because a lot of tipped workers are not paying that higher level of taxes in the first place.
As the wealthiest among us, dine at the feast of all feasts. Don't be fooled by the table scraps.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show at its new time, weekdays 4 till 6 p.m. Maggie Dawn.
At the top of the show, I'm joined by former U.S. Attorney for the 1st District of Wisconsin, Jim Santel. We discuss the big takeaways from the United States Supreme Court's last term. Don't miss it.
The Maggie Dawn Show, weekdays 4 till 6. You're listening to Milwaukee's real news and great conversation. 540 WAUK.
This is going to be a great weekend. The Brewers. Go to the game. We want you to take some pictures and text us through the Civic Media.
We'd love to see them.
Yeah, we'd love to see the fun you're
having a good time.
In those comfy club level seats.
They were cushy.
There's
cushy
private
seats.
Bathrooms and carpeting.
Fabulous. So we will have that keyword for you coming up in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, you have until 11 o'clock, and this is going on all day. So your next chance with a different keyword will be coming up with Tom Hartman from 11 to 2, Todd Alba 2 to 4, and then Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6 p.m. Free Ticket Fridays is underway today on Civic Media. Wanted to give folks a reminder that the funeral services for Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Porter will be happening today. There's visitation. He was killed in the line of duty. Officer Porter's funeral visitation begins at 11 o'clock this morning at Elmbrook Church, and then the interment will be at Wisconsin Memorial Park. The funeral service will begin today at 2:30, and then again, Officer Porter will be interred at Wisconsin Memorial Park. Wanted to let you know about that, and our thoughts go out to his family and everyone in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Lots of things going on.
Yes, indeed.
Dan Schaefer is going to be here after 9:30, so we're going to have an extra half an hour of recombobulating.
There's so much recombobulate. There's always so much news, so he's doing double duty today.
He is.
Yeah.
So Dan will be here about that. We'll wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the Blueberry Hill edition. Stay tuned for that. Wanted to start off with talking about this from News 8000, News 8 Now. Noah Hodges with the byline, Protesters gather outside Congressman Derek Van Orden's office over Trump's spending bill. This happened yesterday. La Crosse residents, that is Derek Van Orden's district, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to be there. La Crosse residents demonstrated outside of Congressman Derek Van Orden's office yesterday, voicing their opposition to the Trump spending bill and challenging Van Orden's claims about health care funding. Demonstrators say Van Orden misled constituents about what the bill is going to do to Badger Care, Medicaid. They say Van Orden's assertion that the legislature is going to secure billions for Badger Care was false, and warned that proposed Medicare cuts will harm thousands of Wisconsin residents. And there have been expert after expert after expert, people who are experts on nursing homes, people who are experts on economics. I mean, all kinds of experts have all kind of weighed in and said the same thing that the administration doesn't want us to hear.
Yes.
Essentially that this is going to, yes, have major, major impacts on people in the Medicare system. It just is.
Medicare, Medicaid, and what's that one? SNAP.
SNAP,
The one, and I'm gonna until he's out of office or he changes his mind and or apologizes for his vote. Let us never forget the fact that he said on record in a room into a microphone to an expert's face,
melting down
with a good old fashioned Derek Van Orton yelling fit, that SNAP would not go down one nickel. Quote, one nickel, he said, and he said that from the point of view of a man who at one point as a child had those benefits back when it was called things like government cheese and food stamps, things like that.
Right.
But he was a poor kid, and he made it very clear that SNAP would not go down. Well, he is wrong. And was he misled? I don't know. Is he lying? Yes, he is.
Well, and I think it's important that folks realize too, and I don't know that we've mentioned this enough, but the cuts and the changes to Medicaid and SNAP aren't going to happen until after 2027.
2027?
Yeah.
Or 2027?
No, they're going to let the midterms happen.
Yes, yeah.
The midterms will happen next November.
So,
and then the cuts kick in 2027. So they're kind of playing it like if the Republicans are ousted in power at that time, then when all this pain starts under a Democratic administration, they go, yeah, it's his fault.
Yeah, I mean
it's his fault.
I mean, when the stock market crashed a couple months ago, it was Biden's fault. Every time something bad happens, it's Biden's fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's always about pointing fingers, placing blame. It's never their responsibility. Well, your name is on a yes vote, Derek Van Orton. The people made their opinions very clear about you yesterday, and then we've been making our opinions very clear about it for a while. And if you look at his Twitter, it's full of nothing but denial and just
insults.
The insults of a man who clearly does not know how to exist in polite society. He is a bully. He is a traitor. He is a liar. And he deserves everything he gets when it comes to political, whether he's voted out of office or people protesting at his house. He made this assertion, SNAP wouldn't go down a nickel, and he was a liar because he voted for it. He voted for it 3 times. He voted for the budget blueprint. He voted for the original budget, and then when it came back from the Senate, he voted for it again. So everything he gets, he's due, because he lied to the people.
Van Orton responding to the demonstrators, and again, this article does not say if he was there.
I looked for something on Twitter, and I didn't
pretty sure he wasn't there. The DBO says the Democrats just don't want to admit that Republicans saved Badger Care. The One Big Beautiful Bill allowed Wisconsin to have a 6% provider tax rate, giving $1 billion additional dollars to Badger Care. There's also a $500 million plus up for rural health care. I find it curious then, if this is all so wonderful, Darren, why didn't you make any appearances in your district to explain all the benefits of this bill to the people who voted for you?
And why is there a record of you calling Governor Evers telling him that they have to save rural hospitals? If all of this is in the budget bill, then what are we even worried about? I mean, I'm dead serious. I agree, Jane. If there was something like, if there were these plans that were going to save access to healthcare in the state, especially in our rural western areas,
people would be celebrating.
People would be celebrating. You should be out there talking to people. Do a town hall. There's ways of doing it. But now you're saying this.
Well, yeah,
What
because
makes, I don't know. He's a liar, so I think he might be lying.
855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. If you would like to join the conversation, Gene from Eau Claire is on the line. Good morning, Gene. Thanks for joining us. What do you want to say about this?
Hurrah for you guys. I have never seen such a liar in my life, in my district. And I'll tell you another thing, if he don't think he's lying, then he's psychotic, and he needs to get the heck out of that position, because he takes right after our president. He was advertising this beautiful bill. I don't remember the name of the people that were paying big bucks to put it on our television and on the internet about how wonderful this bill was and how it wasn't going to hurt us and all the great things it was going to do. People need to wake up on this one, because this guy never should be in an office in the United States of America representing the people making these important decisions, as should never be Donald J. Trump. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And you guys have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Gene.
Bye, Gene.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. I want to know more about this 6% provider tax rate and the $1 billion to additional to Medic. Last time I checked, Jane, Robin Vos doesn't take money from the government for Badger Care. We've been denying it since Obamacare.
Years.
We've been denying it for expanding Medicaid for new moms. So if there is $1 billion, okay, show it to me, and then show me the version of Robin Vos that says, yeah, we'll take it.
It's interesting, too, and I think what is really starting to turn the tide among some as far as how they look at this administration is this whole Jeff Epstein thing.
Yeah.
The Jeffrey Epstein and all Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all those guys spent a couple of years promising their base that the Epstein client list was going to be released. And, of course, no one was going to be on that list except for the Clintons and other Democrats and apparently Tom Hanks and other journalists that they don't like. So they have been promising them and building them up to this point that this is the thing that's going to indict everybody. We're going to have indictments. We're going to send them in jail, and we get to watch them get perp-walked. And now there's no list. Poof. Just doesn't exist.
There was never a list.
There was never a list. You remember the list we told you about? Remember the list that we handed to all those podcasters right before they walked out the door of the White House? And that they held up in front of the media, that was those were all. Yeah, that was not. No, there was. You didn't see that.
No.
Then those binders were empty anyway.
Jane, it was what all happened there is what experts called a lie, because they're liars. They're nothing but liars.
Yeah. This is not sitting well.
No.
This whole Epstein and the non-existent Epstein files now that people had been promised for a couple of years. They're not happy about this.
No.
And I caught this clip from a podcaster. I think, Calvin, we have time to play this clip, don't we? And then we'll continue on the other side. Let's play this clip from
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz. I was gonna call him something else, but yes, let's play that clip, please, Calvin.
People that they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
They seem to be kind of implying that Trump lied.
Well, also,
to them.
I mean, I'm a comedian. I'm a stand-up comedian, and he's a stand-up comedian. And one thing I can tell you that most of us aren't smart. And he is very unsmart because he doesn't know how elections work. You don't get to cherry pick what you vote for with a candidate. It is a zero-sum game. You vote for the person, you get the policies.
All of the policies.
The policies in which he said he was going to do.
Since we're talking about fiscal responsibility, when we return, Russ Votes has some really detailed explanation about why it's a good thing for us to redo the Rose Garden again at taxpayer expense. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
listening to 540 WAUK, Waukesha's home for mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
Turn up the summer vibes at Chula Vista Resort, your playground for summer dreams, water parks, and sun-soaked pools. Epic water slides, soaring zip lines, and world-class golf. Dine in the #1 steakhouse in Wisconsin. Chula Vista Resort. Call 1-800-388-4782 or visit chulavistaresort.com.
Chula Vista Resort is one of the top 10 indoor water parks in the USA, with 26 water slides over 1.5 miles long. Find out more at chulavistaresort.com.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Stephanie Bloomingdale, president of the Wisconsin AFL-CIO. The Big Burro Bill is basically an all-out assault on working Americans.
No tax on tips. It's not as good as it sounds because a lot of tipped workers are not paying that higher level of taxes in the first place.
As the wealthiest among us, dine at the feast of all feasts. Don't be fooled by the table scraps.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show at its new time, weekdays 4 till 6 p.m.
Mommy, how come my cat's in the front seat?
Because I love you and you're just not ready yet.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As Wisconsin is summer weekends being spent on the lake, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Cal B on the board. Coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Here we go.
Yeah.
Get your phone.
Oh my gosh.
Open it up.
Okay, I am.
Go to the Civic Media app.
I am.
Text in the word SCORE.
I'll text the word SCORE in. Okay, quick.
SCORE. Text in the word SCORE. SCORE. You have until 11 o'clock to text in the word SCORE via the Civic Media app, and you are in the running for a 4-pack of Brewers Club level tickets for this Sunday's game as the crew hosts Washington. Sunday's supposed to be a really beautiful day.
It won't let me text to win,
That's
Jane.
because you work here.
Well, this is...
And you can't win.
I never get to win.
But if you're listening, you can win.
Yeah.
Text in the word SCORE. SCORE. It's our free Ticket Fridays. You can text that in again until 11 o'clock this morning. Tom Hartman will have a different word for you after 11 o'clock. Todd Alba with a new word from 2 to 4, and then Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. The key word to text in right now is SCORE. SCORE. Just like Don in Waukesha, and Chuck in East Troy, and Jesse in Dane County, and Kathleen in Libertyville. I love seeing this. Anne-Marie in Brookfield, and Dennis in Milwaukee. Good luck. Keep texting the word SCORE. SCORE. Free Ticket Fridays. Today we are playing for a 4-pack of club-level tickets for this Sunday's game as the Brewers host Washington. Good luck. And you've got till 11 o'clock.
Good luck to you guys. I don't get to do anything.
And if you don't have the Civic Media app, please get it. It's a really great app. Not going to cost you anything. It's absolutely free. And you can curate the news you want to get. Yep. You can listen to all of our stations across the network. Civic Media has a whole bunch of wonderful music stations.
Yes, we do indeed.
If you want to, check out some of our music stations, you can access all of our stations via the Civic Media app. It's pretty cool.
So far, we've had people contact us to let us know they're listening to us in places like New Zealand, Vienna. I think Milan was one of them. But yeah, you can take us all over the world.
Absolutely.
And listen to us anytime, anywhere, because we know you're busy. So get the Civic Media app and make it simple.
Take us with you. And good luck. Before we went to the break, we were talking about protesters in front of Derek Van Orden's office in La Crosse yesterday, not happy about the budget bill and the anticipated cuts that will be coming. And there was an interesting exchange between Russell Vogt, the author of Project 2025, and now the leader of the Office of Management and Budget. He was asked by our reporter yesterday, they're all about fiscal responsibility. They're all about pinching pennies, you know. He was asked about the second now revamp of the Rose Garden, because Melania's not done wrecking it from the first time around, and the cost of that free plane that we just got from Qatar, that he just got from Qatar. That's going to cost like $1 billion to revamp it. That we get to pay for. That taxpayers get to pay for.
That Donald Trump might not even fly in.
Yeah, right. So Russell Vogt was asked about the expense for the second redo of the Rose Garden and also this free plane. Calvin, let's play Mr. Vogt's response, please.
We have a lot of administration priorities, and I hope what you've learned from our, first term, this term, like we need to spend in areas. We need ships. We need aircraft. We need a new presidential plane that's been in the works and been delayed for a long time because contractors are behind. And so that doesn't mean we don't spend where we need to spend. But we've always offered up a fiscal picture that gets to balance, that reduces the deficit, that deals with our debt, and we're doing it in a host of ways in this term, and so that won't change.
Okay,
so
that's a lot of words. We've heard Russell Vogt saying many, many words, and essentially not answering the question about why, when we're going to kick kids off of SNAP, when we're going to kick elderly people out of nursing homes, why it's a good idea for us to spend taxpayer money to concrete the Rose Garden is essentially he wants to put a patio in there and pay for his plane upgrade.
Yeah, no, we pay for that. I mean, yes, our tax money pays for the creation, upgrades, and any repairs being done to Air Force One. But this is what I would call an extraneous purchase or expense, not purchase. We got it for free, which doesn't seem shady at all.
No, not at all. No questions involved with that at all.
But I mean, this it throws the emoluments clause right out the window, and it goes to the fact that this is just another thing that he and the Republicans get to do. And there's questions. There are questions. There is outrage, but then the news cycle is such where we just move on to something else
because it gets surpassed by something else that everybody's going, what?
Yeah. So, and I was trying to find the cost of the original Rose Garden.
When she took out all the flowers?
Yeah. It was actually funded by the Trump campaign.
Oh.
So there's no record that's available
of how much it cost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And some people said it cost a couple $100,000. Some people said $60 million. I'm going to say it cost money, and that money was not paid for, and because it wasn't paid for by the people, we don't know. So we don't know how much they might spend for this one. I just have a feeling, just a thought, just a gut instinct. I have an intuition. Isn't that what
Yes, you have an gut intuition.
Yeah, that his campaign ain't paying for this one, though, this time.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
We have news coming up. Dan Schaefer, an extended time to recombobulate. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the vast, statewide, countrywide, take us global on the app, Civic Media Radio Network.
just over $9,200 for the next school year. UW system leaders say the move balances quality education with affordability, and it comes after a decade-long tuition freeze. One important group in the state is happy about the way Wisconsin figured out its finances. Joanne Krulotz has more.
The Dairy Business Association, Wisconsin's leading dairy advocacy group, applauds Governor Evers and legislative leaders for their bipartisan effort to craft a budget that supports the state's dairy community. It includes additional funding and support for initiatives that align with DBA's policy priorities, ensuring dairy remains a cornerstone of Wisconsin's economy. It does this by supporting clean water initiatives with ongoing funding for county conservation grants, producer-led watershed protection grants, nitrogen optimization, pilot programs, and cover crop insurance rebates, building a lasting agriculture transportation infrastructure by continuing the Agriculture Road Improvement Program and improvements to CDL training grants. It also promotes economic support and development with additional funding for dairy processor grants, continuation of the Wisconsin Agriculture Export Programs, and the Food Security Grant Program. And it encourages dairy research and education with continued funding for the Dairy Innovation Hub.
And that's news on 540 WAUK. I'm Stuart J. Waddles. News at the top and bottom of the hour, or anytime at WAUKradio.com.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Mariska Hargitay has experienced an almost unprecedented run as an actor on the show Law & Order Special Victims Unit. And now she has a director's credit as well. She is the creative force behind a documentary about her late
Bay. We are going to do what did you buy when you were shopping online drunk? Drunk
Okay.
online shopping.
All right. Sounds good.
Give you some time to think about that.
I feel like my story can beat everybody's. Let's see here. Yeah. Brewers are 2 games out.
Getting exciting.
Really is. I'm glad. So far, I'm glad I'm wrong. But like honestly, like at the beginning of the season, I didn't know they had Mizorowski as a prospect to start this season. And
Woodruff looked great too.
Yeah.
I mean, the pitching.
Their pitching wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything to write home about. But all of a sudden, boom. Like,
now it's like, oh.
Yeah. His triumph, I guess, over Skeens doing better than him. Like, I feel like Mizorowski is going to be definite consideration if he keeps like this for Cy Young. Or not Cy, Cy Young.
Yeah.
I was going to say Ty Cobb. No, we should get rid of that. We should just forget Ty Cobb was a human being. He was awful.
Terrible guy.
Terrible man.
There were lots of terrible.
Yeah, but Ty Cobb in baseball, like Ty Cobb once jumped the into the seats and started beating on a man because he called him a racial slur against black people. And people were like, well, yeah, you can't call him that, so let him beat him. Yeah, Ty Cobb was a horrible, horrible individual. And by all accounts, Honus Wagner was actually a better baseball player, and he was a nice guy.
But we forgive all kinds of things.
Should be more people named Honus.
We forget all kinds of
We forgive.
I'm discombobulated. It's grounds to
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. It is Free Ticket Friday, so grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app, and text in the word SCORE. You can't.
You can't.
SCORE. Text in the word SCORE. SCORE. And you're in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers Club level tickets for this Sunday. Crew hosting Washington. So text in the word SCORE. Right now, you have until 11 o'clock this morning. SCORE. Text in the word SCORE. And you are in the running for this Sunday's 4-pack of club level tickets to see the Crew host the Nationals. You can be in the running just like Steve and Hayward, Luann and Wanderus, John and Oshkosh, Kimberly and Wauwatosa. Keep them coming in, you guys. Good luck. And then your next chance with a new word after 11 o'clock with Tom Hartman.
I just love that the fact that there's a place in Wisconsin called Wanderus.
We may have to go there next.
I agree. It just sounds like a place that a magical elf had created. Like, I'm in Wanderus.
We'll do that next.
There you go.
After next week's road trip, because Butternut's my spot. So we'll put Wanderers on the list of our new favorite places we have never been.
There you go.
All right. Keep them coming, and good luck. Free Ticket Fridays all day today. Tom Hartman, 11 to 2. Check out Todd then with a new word from 2 to 4, and Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. He is here early to do some recombobulating, and we're grateful to have him in studio with us. Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor and the author of the multi-award-winning Recombobulation Area.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the budget aftermath.
Budget aftermath. Everything happened so quickly last week.
It really did.
That I feel like we need to still do some recombobulating a week later on the budget, because we just went right into 4th of July weekend.
Mm-hmm.
People forgot about things, and with how quickly so much happened, there was nothing happening publicly, at least, for a really long time in the budget process. And then all of a sudden, Tuesday, July 1st, they announce a deal. And Wednesday, they're voting on it. And 1:30 a.m. on Thursday, early in the morning, Tony Evers is there at the Capitol signing the budget. So
because really,
we've been on the air talking about this for weeks beforehand, and it was like, what are they going to do? I don't know.
Well, and the last word was kind of like everybody's just going to walk away and nothing's going to happen, and we're going to revert to the old budget.
Right.
And on top of all of that, when it happened, the word from Republicans and the word from Tony Evers was, this is a good thing. We've got some stuff here. There's something to work with. It's not perfect, but it's a good start.
Bipartisan compromise.
Yep. And then other people start talking, and because the first day we're like, this is great, and then we start reading tweets. We're like, oh no, is this not great? And then we start hearing from Trisha Peterson, Corinne Hendrickson, and it was like multiple whiplashes, because at first it's like, oh, the budget's done, it's signed, okay, it's good, that's great, it's bad, oh no, what? Tell me how to think.
Well, nobody is the clear winner in this. There's neither side can say, yep, we got everything we wanted, because that isn't what happens.
That's the nature of compromise, the realities of divided government. We have a Democratic governor and a Republican-controlled legislature, and not everybody's going to be happy with every deal that is struck. But I think, it's just interesting. There's a number of interesting elements of it. One that's kind of like returned to the news cycle this week with our pal Derek Van Orden taking credit for the deep breathing, Greg, to get through any Derek Van Orden talk. Saying that he is the reason that Wisconsin is so, like, they were racing to meet this deadline.
Yeah.
So
because they needed to get this done before the federal budget got passed.
Right. Okay. So they needed to make this change for the hospital assessment reimbursement rate that applied to Medicaid. It's a complicated thing, and we can get into the weeds on that maybe in a different time. But they needed to meet this deadline in order to get about $1 billion that would go to largely help hospitals in Wisconsin. Never mind that they've ignored, the Republican-controlled legislature has ignored expanding Medicaid for the very same, under the very same logic path for a decade.
Well, and isn't the Joint Finance Committee still sitting on that hospital money?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. He has this quote against the protesters saying the Democrats just don't want to admit that Republicans saved Badger Care. The one big beautiful bill allowed Wisconsin to have a 6% provider tax rate, giving $1 billion additional dollars to Badger Care. There is also $500 million plus up for rural health care, which that sentence sounds wonderful. Coming out of Derek Van Orden makes me go, what?
Where's
you
the
know.
catch?
Why didn't you talk about this before?
Well, and here's the thing with this though. Like Van Orden is obviously being ridiculous with what he's saying about the budget here.
And his giving himself
and
credit.
giving himself credit. Yeah. Maybe he was being advantageous in that final stretch there, sending this letter and making it public, saying that like, oh, I had some sort of role in this. But what was happening was that they were trying to meet this deadline because the federal bill was going to be cutting Medicaid and not allowing for states to make these types of changes. What I don't get about this, though, is like, of course, you can have this back and forth that's happening this week between the governor's office and Derek Van Orden and like blah, 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 blah. Who said whatever? And Van Orden obviously being ridiculous, again, to be clear. But at the same time, I kind of question why this issue didn't really emerge publicly at all until the deal was struck. And it was like, okay, we got to do it. We got to get it signed now. We got to get it signed in the middle of the night. We can't wait. We got to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were talking about, like there was kind of nothing happening on the budget for like long stretches of the month of June. Their budget deadline is June 30th, but as we were talking about at the time, it's kind of a soft deadline because not that much will change as far as they do, pass a budget soon, right? I wonder where was the urgency with getting this $1 billion for the weeks beforehand? Because all of a sudden it emerges that we got to do it. And did they know about this provision in the big beautiful bill? Were they just kind of sitting there hoping that it would
DVO get a
voted
last
out?
minute heads up from somebody?
Was there? Well, I mean, who knows? Like, and as they were voting on I know that in the Wisconsin state legislature, they were following along with what was happening federally. And like, that's why Evers was there at 1:30 in the morning to sign the budget. But what I question is just like, there seemed like this larger lack of urgency. And if this Medicaid funding issue was an issue throughout the whole negotiations, like why the lack of urgency the whole time from the governor's office, from the Republicans who wanted this funding and wanted to make this change apparently in the final stretch here? Why no urgency? All of a sudden it's the biggest issue and we have to do it now. But there was no urgency and nobody talking about it publicly for like weeks and months before that.
I mean, that would definitely be a bargaining chip that the Senate Assembly Democrats as well as the governor could have used to gin up support from the people to say we need to get this done. I mean, him saying this in this article made me go, wait, what? Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like, why didn't you say something? Why didn't anyone say something? I don't know. Like, we weren't making this. This was not a front of house thing. This was not something we were talking about on the radio. Because the other question I have, and I posed it earlier, which was, it gives $1 billion additional dollars to Badger Care, but if that $1 billion is coming from the government, that means that we, as the Assembly and Senate, have to accept it. Am I correct? From the government, which is something we don't do. We haven't expanded Medicaid for Obamacare. We haven't expanded Medicaid for new moms. Why would we take $1 billion from the federal government to expand our Badger Care if we are not in the habit of doing it in the first place? So until we say yes to it, if this in fact is the case, then it is nothing more than an offer on the table, and Derek Van Orden's words are even more hollow.
And wouldn't that create a perfect time to raise that issue as well? It's just like a perfect opening to say, hey, if you're willing to take the federal money for this, why not take it for the Medicaid expansion, which is something Tony Evers ran on in 2018, ran on again in 2022, and has not been able to deliver on because Robin Vos is so far beyond dug in on this issue. But like at the end of the day, you got to use the opportunities that are presented to you and try and make that change. So whether it was Medicaid expansion, whether it is, the postpartum extension for new moms to cover for 12 months, that has majority support, had majority support in the Senate.
For a long time.
Why not use that as a way to raise that issue? I know Evers had outlined kind of 3 key issues that they wanted to move on with the budget: K-12 education, childcare, and UW system funding. For how much we've all been talking about Medicaid and how it relates to the big beautiful bill and all of these different things, like why not bring that issue up more?
Much sooner.
much sooner.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to Dan Schaefer. He is Civic Media's political editor, as well as the founder of the multi-award-winning Recombobulation Area. And he is recombobulating early this week, and a lot. Like, he's doing double duty. And the other thing, too, that was in that statement from him was there is also $500 million plus up for rural health care. I want to know more about that, because that ties in directly to the story that came out this past weekend. I think it was on Sunday or Monday, that said that Derek Van Orton has been talking to Tony Evers about saving rural hospitals. Well, again, if this was such an important thing, why wasn't Derek Van Orton standing at the top of his pulpit and saying, no, we need to make sure that my Western Wisconsin has access to healthcare access to healthcare, hospitals, clinics, when he knew that this big bill for billionaire was going to cut all of that further than it already is. So there's $500 million apparently, but yet he's telling Tony Evers he has to save rural hospitals. That also doesn't make sense to me.
So there's a provision they put into the big brutal bill in the 11th hour there, because they were recognizing that these deep cuts to Medicaid were going to be a disaster for rural health care, because it's just the economics don't work for having hospitals in rural areas. And so the bill added an amendment that had a $50 billion fund, $50 billion with a B dollar fund called the Rural Health Transformation Program.
Okay, all right.
And so I think that is what Van Orden is referring to there, is having some sort of access. But it's like this classic Trumpian type of policy where it's just like, hey, I'm going to decimate, I'm going to raise these tariffs that are going to decimate, agriculture exports. I'm going to and then throw some money to farmers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the same thing where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to destroy this thing, but here's a bunch of money to try to mitigate
Take some of the sting out of it.
my own policies,
But
right? The sting of my own policies.
But I have to wonder also if DVO isn't feeling some heat and thinking, geez, this isn't going quite the way we all thought it was going to go, and people aren't embracing this, so I need to do something that goes like, look, I really do care. See, I do care.
But the thing is, instead of standing up and saying, once again, we understand that the bill was not advantageous for everybody or whatever, and I'm not asking to take fault, blame, or, responsibility for his yes vote, but this statement he made isn't being made as a PS to the bill. It's being made at these protesters. He wouldn't have said this had the protesters not shown up, but that's what he does. He reacts. He doesn't plan ahead. And that's what this whole thing is. It's not planning ahead.
We are recombobulating with Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Text in the word SCORE. Free Ticket Fridays continues.
Saw sign said, welcome to Cleveland. Hoping for a relaxing weekend once I get strapped in.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Caliente on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Shows are going on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, Matenaer On Air and Todd Alba teaming up and hitting the road. Our summer tour includes stops next Wednesday. We're going to broadcast from the EAA Museum in Oshkosh.
Mm-hmm.
On Thursday, we are going to broadcast from an art gallery.
Yes.
In Butternut.
Butternut.
And on Friday, we will be in Hayward at The Lot.
The Lot, yes, indeed. It's
The
a cool
Lot.
little,
It
cool
is
little
a
artist
spot.
space.
It is a hot artist space in Hayward. If you're in the area, we would love to meet you. Come on out. Broadcasting live, our show from 9 to 11, Todd's show from 2 to 4. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to singing show tunes in the car as we travel from space to space.
Oh, that's going to be. I wish I could hear all of that.
We'll
You got to
do
have a
some-
live stream.
We will.
Like an Instagram live of you guys singing in the car.
Show
Yeah.
tunes. Oh,
Yeah,
we're me.
How did you get banned on Instagram? Show tunes.
So join us next week as we hit the road. Matenaer On Air and the Todd Alba Show next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area, Dan Schaefer, is here to break down all of the most recent news. We were talking about the budget, which we finally have.
We finally have a budget. It came together in a discombobulating week.
In the middle of the night.
And that's why we've got to recombobulate this week.
But seriously, and the news cycle works so quickly now that things just get lost. So some of the other big things in the budget bill, especially about childcare.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of what ended up in there. So I think, it was very exciting to see that Republicans were finally willing to do something on childcare because that seemed like such a main sticking point in the negotiations. And the governor, I've criticized other aspects of how they've approached the budget. I think childcare in particular is one that they have really done a good job on advocating for repeatedly. But I think some of what resulted in the budget was, again, it's this compromise, right? So they have, I think, more than $100 million that's going to be able to continue payments for childcare accounts. They're kind of using some creative accounting here. It's not like some new money. It's like interest from ARPA funds and whatever that they're redirecting. And it's confusing and complicated.
But it only lasts for a year.
But it basically extends, so it extends the equivalent of childcare accounts for one more year. And then there, I think we've had this conversation about how childcare, Democrats have wanted to just like continue childcare accounts and have these direct payments and continue the pilot program that has been proving to work. And Republicans, as they often do with a lot of things, they're just like, we just need to deregulate. We just need to
Let's have more 16-year-olds in there. Come on.
And that ended up in the budget. And so a couple of the things that ended up there that I think childcare providers are not thrilled with is that there is a program in there to increase the number of children a single staff member can oversee in the classroom from 4 to 7. And so I think it's already a really hard job, and it doesn't pay well.
No,
and now
it doesn't.
You're going to have an even more difficult job.
It doesn't pay well.
Right. And so this doesn't really move the needle on those, the direct payments will keep places open for another year. I don't think it's going to move the needle on needing to address wages in that industry, which is such the key issue. And then there's another piece of it that allows for 16-year-olds to serve as assistant teachers. And so like there is like a lot of the kind of stuff that we talked about and didn't really like with childcare that ended up as part of this too. So when you're hearing, hey, historic investments in childcare, well, historic investment in childcare would have been $1 from general purpose revenue in the state because we've just never committed anything to it in Wisconsin. So like, historic gains. Well, historic from zero is
still historic.
Is historic when it's from zero.
Right.
And that's what we talked about. That's what we brought up many times when Robin Voss likes to pat himself on the back saying we've made the biggest investment into education in a generation. I'm like, yeah, that's up from zero, bro. That's a huge investment when it's nothing.
Right.
And the other thing too is the fact that, I think one of the things that we talking about this topic need to really put into our vocabulary or make part of the discussion that when we say childcare, we're not talking about daycare. We're not talking about babysitting. We're talking about education for children.
These are actual programs.
These are programs that are trying to engage the brain of children at their most
developmental.
Developmentally most. It takes in that information so well. That this isn't just dropping your kids off at the babysitter. This is actual school you're paying for.
They're reading with kids. They're learning shapes and colors. All those like basic things.
Yeah.
This
is not. This is, and that needs to be part of that conversation because I really think when we say childcare, people just equate it to babysitting.
I agree with you, and that's why when we talked to
Trisha Peterson
last week, who is works with Corey Hendrickson, and we've talked about this a lot. But yeah, I do think that there's this assumption that it's how hard can it be? You got 7, 5-year-olds running around your house for 8 hours and they play. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about much more structured, much more targeted educational activities for these kids to get them ready to learn when they go to school.
And it's just like having kids who've been in childcare for a time. Like the people who are working there become like almost an extension of your family because your kids spend so much time with them.
Sure.
And it's just the fact that I think average wages because of childcare counts went up, but it's still like kind of at what minimum wage should be type of levels. It's like right around $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked to Corinne Hendrickson on a number of occasions about this, and she was just like, my, 17-year-old or whatever is like making more at Culver's or Quick Trip than some of the people that she was hiring at her. Yeah, I don't remember the details, so I don't want to speak for her. But like that's the general idea of it.
They're not trying to make millions off of you, and when they have to raise their prices, it's not because they need because they need a third car or fourth car. It's because they need to take care of these kids, and they made that very clear over and over again.
Now they're gonna have to take care of more kids.
Yep. Yeah. News is coming up next. Stay with us. Text in the word SCORE using the Civic Media app, SCORE, for that 4-pack of tickets for this Sunday's game as the crew host Washington. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That was just a dream. Try.
good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park and Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Free Ticket Fridays underway. The word you want to text in over the next hour, you have until 11 o'clock via the Civic Media app only. In order to pick up a 4-pack of club-level tickets for this Sunday's game, as the Brewers host the Nationals, text in the word SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. This hour's word is SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. Text that in until 11 o'clock, and you could pick up those tickets for this Sunday's game.
Every week I try to enter, and you say I can't because I work here.
Yes.
And then Dan comes on the show and tries to, and you say the same thing. So
Exactly.
I have a possible
Correct.
workaround. What if I text from Dan's phone and he texts from my phone?
No.
But
you work for the company. Can't win tickets.
I will win.
Even Bridget couldn't win. I'm sorry.
Then why did I get married? I thought,
What's even the point?
I figured
Good
she'd just be
heavens.
winning radio contests our entire marriage, and I would free vacations and silverware and things of that nature.
For those of you not employed by Civic Media, text in the word SCORE. S-C-O-R-E. SCORE is the word. You have until 11 o'clock. Tom Hartman will have a different word for you from 11 to 2. Then Todd Alba, who's up north at the fair.
Yes.
I listened yesterday. It was great. From 2 to 4. And then the fabulous Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. Free Ticket Fridays underway here on Civic Media. Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area, breaking down all of the news because, again, the news cycle works so quickly now. Things get bumped off the page sometimes in 5 minutes. It's like,
That's
that
right.
was breaking news. It's no longer there.
That's why I'm not the breaking news guy. I'm the recombobulation guy.
Take
I'm
some
coming after the
time.
fact. We got to
Exactly.
process this. We got to make sense of everything.
Break
That's
things
right.
down a little bit into digestible sections.
That's right. And I was just quickly on the Brewers. I was looking up to see if Sunday's game was a start from the Miz, because I'm obsessed with the Miz.
Really?
I'm organizing to try to watch every start now.
Of
Because
Mizorowski?
because it's just been so electric to watch him. But Sunday is a Freddie Peralta start. So you still get an all-star pitcher on the mound.
He's still
it's gonna
great.
be-
Yeah.
And Sunday is going to be a beautiful day to be out of the ballpark. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we were going to look ahead a little bit to next year, 2026.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've had my say a little bit on the governor.
I think I've read something about
and
that.
whether I think he should run for a third term. I am opposed to running for a third term. But there's been some news on the other side of the aisle for who might be running in 2026 against Tony Evers or against whoever the Democratic candidate might be. So we've known that for a while now that Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman has gotten into the mix.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That campaign is going so well that there's rumors that like Eric Hovde and Tim Michaels and whoever else might jump back in. So really not exactly
an
a
open
huge
field
vote
still.
of confidence for what's going on with Mr. Schoeman's campaign.
Interesting.
Bill Berrien is the guy who announced this week. So he made a big announcement, had a big splashy video. Had got a bunch of headlines with this. I think the super PAC that he launched had raised more than $1 million. So you've got a lot going on with Bill Berrien. So he's got his rollout video, he talks about, it's very Trumpy. So he really tries to talk about, I think one of the lines was, I want to go shake up Madison the way Trump's shaking up D.C. or
Is he
something
gonna find
like
the
that.
deep state in Madison?
I'm an outsider. I'm a businessman.
Drain the lakes.
Drain the lakes.
Drain Mendota. Drain Mendota.
But I think that does speak to what is going to ultimately be the main factor in the Republican primary for governor this year is a Trump endorsement. Right. I mean, we've seen. We saw this 4 years ago when he endorsed Tim Michaels, and Tim Michaels ended up winning. We saw this in the 8th congressional district.
He won the nomination. You mean?
Not winning the primary.
Oh,
yeah, the primary.
I was like, wait, what did I miss?
Winning the primary in the 8th congressional district. Trump endorses Tony Weed. Tony Weed is able to win that primary. So I think whether it's Bill Berrien, whether it's Josh Schoeman, whether Tom Tiffany jumps into the mix, if whether we get the rerun of a Tim Michaels or an Eric Hovde candidacy running for governor again, the main factor in who's going to win this is who Trump endorses. And so I think that is what really these announcements, these primaries really are, because even though Berrien in particular does not have like a particularly Trumpy background.
Yeah.
He donated $30,000 to Nikki Haley's campaign during the last election. So I think he's really trying to try to let people know, hey, I do love Trump. This is who I am and who I've always been. Never a break in the Trump support. But I think that's going to be the key thing in the primary. And I mean, maybe Bill Berrien wins. Maybe he could get the Trump endorsement. Who knows? But I think that is going to be really the key factor to watch in the Republican primary.
See, and I fully expect, and I hope I'll probably be wrong, I fully expect Eric Hovde to give it another shot.
You think he'll get, yeah.
Yes, he is still stung that he got beat and never conceded, and I think he is annoyed by that.
Yeah.
And it's he should have it.
Yeah, he thought
because he's a rich kid from, was born in Wisconsin, and I want it, and I think I should have it.
Like the Bobby Newport Parks and Recreation.
Give it to me. Just give it to me.
Just give it to me.
Just give it to me.
I deserve it. I do.
There's a whole host of things about this that sets off a ton of questions. First of all, I feel like Wisconsinites should be suspect of anybody who can just write a check for $30,000 to a campaign. To me, that gives a level of wealth that makes you maybe not the most in touch with people.
As far as saying I'm just like you.
Yeah, I love Wisconsin. I'm a regular guy. I write big checks that, could pay for schooling for kids, for loser candidates who don't make it. But the question I have is, now I know that the ultimate goal at this point right now, unless something catastrophic happens as far as the popularity for Trump, is you want to get his endorsement, yes. But is running on with Trumpian language going to help at this point, especially in Wisconsin, where with the April 1 election, we saw maybe not a dramatic shift, but a noticeable shift to the left in the voting. Does it do better for him to say, here is my platform, which has Trumpian policies therein, or mask them, rather than trying to sound like just another MAGA talking point? And also, Trump's endorsement really doesn't mean jack.
Well, it hasn't worked for everybody. I mean,
it hasn't worked in Wisconsin.
Well, and I can think of a bunch of candidates around the country too that he endorsed that got beat.
But it works in the primary.
Yes,
true.
You're right.
That's true.
And the thing is, but that also that will show another point though. So he can get his Trumpian as he would like during the primaries. But in Wisconsin, I feel like in this climate right now, he will have to move to the center just a little bit, because I don't think that rhetoric will work against, if Tony Evers announces and he's the guy. I don't think that kind of rhetoric works against Tony Evers. I don't think it works against any Democrat. I think they have to sound a little more of the people. And that doesn't mean that their policies have to be good for people. It just means that the way they present themselves has to be palatable and digestible, and say, oh, I like this Bill Berrien guy. He's a Republican. He's a good, and he's a businessman. He's a Navy SEAL. He has no, apparent from what I see, no political experience, but that's the world we live in.
He's an outsider.
Well, right. Yes, exactly.
But I think in light of everything that's happened in the past couple of years with Wisconsin, that I don't think a Trumpian candidate fares well after the primary.
Dan Schaefer is here, Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area, talking about looking ahead to 2026, the lay of the land here in Wisconsin, and who could be jumping into the gubernatorial race.
Now, the other candidate I'm looking at here is, I wonder what Tom Tiffany is going to do, because I think, he has not been a particularly strong fundraiser, and I think that works to his disadvantage. Now, on the other hand, we have Brian Stile in the first congressional district, very strong fundraiser. I think could be a really competitive candidate if he were to run on it statewide for governor. I don't think he's going to do that this time, though. I think he's running for re-election in for Congress.
But I agree with you. Brian Stile would be a pretty strong candidate. I don't understand. Tom Tiffany's got the greatest gig in the world.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you give that up? Do you have to work much? I mean, seriously, does anybody have high expectations for what Tom Tiffany's going to bring to the table? I don't think so. He's got his big mansion in northern Wisconsin. He wants to log the Apostle Islands. You know, why would you give all that up and then actually be in a position where people can criticize your actions or inactions?
You think he'd be better off if he stays in his, 65% red
Absolutely.
seat in northern Wisconsin?
Nice and cozy and safe, and life is good.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't. I mean, this doesn't mean he won't run. People run all the time for various reasons, but I think that he has not created enough fanfare for himself through various news stories, and I mean,
what's he gonna bring and say? I did this.
Well,
for
he's
you?
gonna be hit immediate with, you voted for the big bill for billionaires, and he has to defend that vote, and people are. I mean, that's going to be hard for him. I mean, it's
a really under bill.
Yeah,
like, I think that it's kind of flown under the radar.
But look, I have my picture standing next to the Blotnick Bridge. Look, see?
And that's another thing, that you voted against the infrastructure repair bill, and you are taking credit for money that you didn't want to come into the state. You did not vote for money for our state.
Yeah.
So does Tom Tiffany run? I don't know. Does he win anything? No, I just don't think he does.
Well, and here's the thing that I think is part of this dynamic too. And it is that if we're talking about Josh Schoeman and Bill Berrien and Tom Tiffany as the potential candidates for the Republicans, if you take Tony Evers out of the equation, if he decides not to run again, I think the Democratic bench is much stronger than that group that we just talked about with the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd be talking about Josh Kaul, who has won 2 statewide races. We'd be talking about Sarah Godlewski, Sarah Rodriguez, David Crowley, Ben Wickler. There's a pretty strong bench for Democrats, and I think would be more formidable as, just if you're looking at just those 2 groups for who might win. If you're just like saying, okay, Tony Evers not running, I'm handicapping this for Republicans versus Democrats, I would put Democrats as the favorite on balance, even without Evers.
I'm just going to say Josh Kaul is a mistake.
Josh Kaul might.
He's not going to win. I just don't think he'll win.
You win 2 statewide races, you end up on the list at least.
Yeah.
But
granted, but I think the whole not going after the fake electors, and I think there are other things that people feel like Josh Kaul.
But Republicans can't hit him with that.
That they can't. Well,
they can't hit him with that.
Right. But for Democrats, I think there are people who expected Wisconsin's Attorney General to be more aggressive than he has been, and I think there's disappointment there.
100%.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is I'd be really happy if there was a really strong Democratic candidate who didn't come from either Madison or the machine in Madison or Milwaukee, because that immediately gets you tagged with so many different things. I would love to see David Crowley make a run for it, but it like you said, the bench would be deep and it would be interesting to watch, but the Republicans right now, it's just a lot of like, oh, really?
Come on, Eric Hovde, come on back. Our Super PAC, we got nothing else. Super PAC is ready to go with new ads. Should you decide to jump into the gubernatorial race here in Wisconsin,
he'll
we're
have
ready.
to grow the mustache again.
It'll be so
Get back
much
in the
fun.
lake, baby.
Come on, let's drain Lake Mendota. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We continue recombobulating with Dan Schaefer. Stay with us on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvinator on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Also, leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Don't forget, Free Ticket Fridays is underway. Grab your phone, open up the Civic Media app, pick your station, and text in the word SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. SCORE is the word until 11 o'clock. You are in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers tickets for this Sunday as they host the Washington Nationals. Text in the word SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. You'll have a new word after 11 o'clock with Tom Hartman, and then another with Todd from 2 to 4, and Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. But right now, the word to text in, so you're in the running for those tickets, is SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, and good luck. He is Civic Media's political editor and the creator of the Recombobulation Area, Dan Schaefer, in studio with us. And let's talk a little bit about Wisconsin Senior Senator Ron Johnson is disturbed.
He's almost as concerned as Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins.
He's not comfortable.
No. Ron Johnson made a lot of noise these past few months, hasn't he? About the big, beautiful bill, about his opposition to it.
Yeah.
Did you at any point throughout all of the noise that he was making for months about this bill, did you at any point think he would vote against it?
No.
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 Never.
Never. Ever. Never, ever, ever.
Did you think he would?
No.
No.
No,
Of
I
course
don't think.
not.
I don't think there was any serious
It's
person.
completely performative. All of them.
Yeah, he did this hour-and-a-half thing at the Milwaukee Press Club. He did this, all of these different things. He talked about these meetings that he was having with Trump, and he's just like, "Oh, we have to reduce the deficit. We have to do, all of these different things." And yeah, he voted for it. There's a good piece in a nonprofit publication called Notice, which is really good, N-O-T-U-S, talking about how after the bill was signed, there were dozens of journalists flocking to Ron Johnson's office to get his reaction to the bill that they had passed, that he was railing against for months and months and months and months, and only finding that he's like, well, President Trump has given us commitments that he's going to continue to reduce the size of government. He's going to do this, but this is like the rare bill that both cuts government and increases the deficit. Like, really great job, guys, doing the worst of both worlds there. But I think there was another quote that an NBC News reporter had talking about interviewing Johnson about his reaction to this as well. And this is just like this Republican math that he exemplifies. So Sahil Kapoor, who's a great reporter, covers Congress for NBC News, says, and I'm going to just quote right from his tweet here, Senator Ron Johnson, who raised hell in opposition to a mega bill that increases the deficit, voted for one that increases the deficit by $3.3 trillion. Lots
of money.
Asked why, he tells me, firstly, that if you set aside the $4.5 trillion tax cut in the bill, we did actually reduce the deficit.
Wait. Stop. If you set aside the $3 trillion we added, then everything is ducky?
If you set aside the $4.5 trillion tax cut in the bill, we actually did reduce the deficit.
I know that's how I budget.
Yeah.
When I'm working on my monthly household budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do the budget. I don't count the biggest chunk. I don't count my mortgage. And that way I'm coming out ahead every month.
Yeah. If you don't count the Cops ice cream that I had last night, I actually lost weight.
Exactly. That makes no sense.
But that is the way they've been doing it for a long time now. I feel, honestly, I'm sorry, everybody. I feel like we're in the second year. He's only been in office for 6 months. But when the stock market tanked and there were questions about the GDP going down and the economy slowing down, they said they were going to take GDP out of it so they could say, oh, see, there's growth. They're going to always rewrite the rules.
They're going to remath.
Elon Musk is trying to rewrite knowledge because they don't want to face history. This is what they do every time. Anytime there is a firm and steady and visible failure in front of them, they're like, well, if you don't count this thing, the thing that counts for 40 to 50 to 60% of whatever they're talking about were great.
Yeah, we're good.
But when you asked the question earlier, Dan, about whether or not I thought he was going to vote for it, the reason why I immediately said yes was for two reasons. One, it's Ron Johnson. He's spineless. He's uncomfy, but he's spineless. But two, this is exactly what he did in 2017, too. He hemmed and he hawed, and he wasn't doing it for the people. He was doing it for his buddies.
Right. But in that instance, he got what he wanted.
Right.
Holding out paid him off. He got that pass through that he wanted for his kids' business and Diane Hendricks and those folks. In this instance, what he got was a promise that they're going to look at reducing the deficit down the road.
Yeah, there was an amendment that he and Florida Senator Rick Scott had introduced together that was basically gutting Medicaid expansion. That didn't make it to the House, thankfully, but it was something that passed in the Senate, and that Ron Johnson was like, okay, now I can get on board with this bill. But, you know, of course, it didn't pass the House, and then he eventually is in favor of it as well.
He was always going to fold.
He was always going to fold.
Always.
He was always going to fold. And that's why I think it's not a story, really, that, like, you know, I think there's some of these national publications that heard from Johnson, state publications that are covering this from Johnson. It's just like everyone expected this the whole time.
I was just going to say, I don't think he cared about taking down the deficit. I don't think he cares about it at all.
No.
He held out because he wanted to get the tax breaks. And then he got the tax breaks and he got to say, I tried. It's all a cover. He got what he wanted both times, which is more money for him and his buddies. He doesn't care about you or me.
Dan Schaefer is here from the recombobulation area. When we return, we will lighten it up with a little audio sorbet. Drunk online shopping.
You've done it.
You have done it. I've done it.
I've done it.
Pretty much everybody has done it. Your doorbell rings. Oh, I forgot I ordered that. That's coming up. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, the board lord, coming to you from our studio at a steamy radio park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Don't forget, we are in the midst of our Free Ticket Friday, so you have until 11 o'clock via the Civic Media app only to text in the word SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, SCORE, and you'll be in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets for this Sunday's game as the Crew host the Nationals. So text in the word SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. By the way, the Crew playing tonight against the Nationals. Our broadcast starts at 6:35. Listen to the game on terrestrial radio, WRCE in Richland Center, WISS in Oshkosh, here in Racine and Kenosha on WRJN, WCQM in Park Falls, and WBZH in Hayward. The Brewers hosting the Nationals. Our broadcast starts today at 6:35.
And I know for a fact we were giving away tickets for tonight's game. So if you won tickets with us because of the contest, take pictures, text them in through the Civic Media app. We'd love to see what you've been up to. We'd love to see the seats. They're cushy, comfy, wonderful. So yeah, let us know.
Great foul ball territory for those.
Wonderful foul ball territory.
Yeah, it is good.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. Dan Schaefer is here. We've been doing a bunch of recombobulating. Right now, though, it is the final half hour of the program.
What does that mean?
It means it's time for Audio Sorbet, Greg Bach, where we take a little breath to get away from the news and talk about sillier things. I think we've all done this. I know I've done this. What did you buy online after you've had a couple drinks? 855-752-4842. No judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. 855-75-CIVIC. Drinking while online shopping. What did you end up ordering? And then a couple days later, the doorbell rings. Like, oh my God, I did order that, didn't I? I thought it was a dream. I thought I was dreaming. 855-752-4842. Our audio sorbet for today. Drunk online shopping. Who wants to go first and confess?
Why are you looking at me to go first here?
You are our guest, and that's just being polite.
Okay. Yes. Well, so I'm not really a big online shopper when I've been drinking. I would say the app that I would go to if I am spending some money, it would be like DoorDash. It would be
it's
like
a food.
Just ordering, ordering chicken wings and falling asleep before they get there. Does that count?
Did that really happen?
That has happened. Yeah.
Yes. I gotta have chicken wings, and I gotta have them right now.
Oh God!
And did the doorbell wake you up?
No.
You never heard him? Did he just leave him?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny.
Did you eat them?
No.
Okay.
No. Did not eat chicken wings. Because I was sitting in my porch all morning.
I would have been like, well, I can just put those in the oven, right? That'll kill the bacteria, and I'm really hungry right
There's
now.
There's no ants on it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's chicken wings. It's not like they're real anyways. So, all right. If we're going to take that yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I am the type of person who, when I would drink, and I'm not talking even about getting drunk, honestly.
You're kind of a cheap date.
I am, especially now. I have one alcohol a week at this point. It's a Bloody Mary on Saturday mornings at Church and Market. Shout out to Kenosha. And that's my thing, that we do that, and that's all I do. But even that little Bloody Mary, I'm like, sometimes it's a little strong, and I'm like, I need a water. I need to sit for a little bit. I just need to take it in and relax. But I will have like half a beer. I'm like, you guys want to get pizza? Like 4 of them? I mean, there's 4 of us here. Let's just get our own pizza. So yeah, I understand that.
I can be a prolific drunk eater.
Oh yeah, yeah. Taco Bell has known my wrath.
Anything else?
Well, I mean, I have 2 very particular drinking and purchasing stories. I'll go with the first one.
Do tell, Greg Bach.
Yes,
I was in Washington, D.C. many moons ago at a conference that was for my job, and I went to a party, and the party was an open bar, and I may have been quite overserved. that night. I still have no recollection of how I got from the party to my hotel room.
That's never good.
All I know is two things happened. One, I missed my flight.
Ooh.
Yeah, I missed my flight. And two, I looked at my email and I saw there was an order for the complete Monty Python box set that I had purchased somewhere between the hours of 12:30 and 3:30. So not a purchase I regret. I still have it to this day. I love the fact that I got it, but that is definitely on the low scale of what I had done. The top of the scale, if you want, unless you want to share first.
Well, just as a reminder, this is Audio Sorbet. We are talking about things we have purchased when we perhaps had a couple too many. 855-752-4842.
I bet the listeners here got some good stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Share your drunk online shopping stories at 855-75-CIVIC. I had a couple glasses of wine, 2 to 9, and I was checking my points on my credit card, and so I had all these reward points. And it's like, I'm going to go look at what rewards are available.
I've earned this.
I have 970,000 points, and I think I should use them. And so I ordered an entire new set of dishes, which we did not need. It's a 12-piece set of dishes. And using my points,
Yeah.
but still, like a week later, the doorbell rings and this huge, heavy box shows up, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Honey, what did you order?
Paul? No, I have a come to dinner. We
I was gonna
can
say-
have lots of people.
You have dishes specifically made for dinner parties.
No, it's just, yeah, I didn't. We have dishes. We have lots and lots of dishes now, so we're covered with dishes.
So we've got to join forces here, Jane. I'm the one ordering the food.
There it
you
is.
have
we
the
got
dishes.
we got the dishes and the utensils. You're set, man.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's another thing I love too is the whole points thing. Every credit card has points nowadays, and they make
Yeah.
you feel like, oh, I've got so many points, I can get a free flight. I'm like, do you know how much money you had to spend to get like all of the, like, I have 1,000 points. You had to spend like $40,000 to get those points. Like, it's not free. Okay, I'm sorry.
I should send my dishes back? Is that what you're saying?
Finance Corner with Greg Bach.
Oh, I can talk about
New
this for days.
addition to the Matenaer On Air lineup. This should be a thing followed by Greg Bach's Finance Corner.
Greg shames your purchases on Civic Media.
What have you purchased online after you've had a couple cocktails? We're talking about drunken online shopping at 855-752-4842. You can text us. You can also leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter.
Kurt is listening in Waukesha texted in, never play games on your phones that require money just so you can get next tokens $29.99 for quote free game. Yeesh. Yeah, I have a game that I'm currently addicted to. I mean, it is kind of bad.
What's it called?
It's okay. So it's called.
There's no shame.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the name of the game is. It sounds really creepy. It's not. It's a kid's game. It's called All in Whole.
Okay. I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a very addictive game. You can get, and they're always trying to sell you stuff. And it is, in all the years I've had a smartphone, it is the closest I've ever come to paying for something on a game. But I haven't yet. But still, yeah, you get those ads in there because
you got half a Bloody Mary. You're going to be
tokens for everyone.
Drunken online shopping is today's audio sorbet. 855-752-4842. Jim from Brookfield. Late at night, half asleep, I order my wife earrings. I thought being the shape of Wisconsin, they would be good for the state fair. When they showed up a few days later, they were the state of Iowa. My wife was not happy. Jim from Brookfield.
I'm going to put that into it was the thought that counts side of it.
Honey.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Kelvin, do you have any stories that you can share? I know that you've said before that you're not a big drinker either, but we've
all had those moments.
We've had moments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big drinker, and I kind of have impulse control when it comes to shopping as it is. So, yeah, I mean, I've bought books, video games that I played one time, mobile game things that are unnecessary, all sorts of stuff to waste money on.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like I need, but at the moment it's like, that's like my dishes. I need these.
Yeah. We're entertaining people. We need to entertain.
Hey, we might have 400 people over for dinner.
Well, really, when you think about it, you bought a 12
piece
set. How much was your current? How much is your current? So now it's not like even it's like you're celebrating a gala.
Well, right, we could have 40 people in our house. I don't have any place for them to sit, but I got the dishes.
Yeah, it's fancy
you need
dishes.
a dish. I got the dish.
You gotta sit on the floor.
Drunken online shopping 855-752-4842. No judgment zone. Text it in, call it in. We would love to know that we are not alone. That we're
we
not.
listen and we don't judge. Isn't that like a thing?
Exactly.
Yeah,
no judgment.
Mike from Green Bay, listening to WGBW, said this. I booked a trip to the Netherlands on a Viking cruise, which, by the way, sounds very interesting.
It does.
Let's just say my wife was not overjoyed. However, the trip is great. I thought that was pretty good until State Senator Chris Elfheim texted in a flamethrower to kill weeds.
I gotta have that.
Oh, that's amazing.
State Senator Chris Elfheim believes in more power.
Take that, thistles. I'll
Hey,
show
Buckthorn,
you.
I'll see you in hell. I think that one might be my favorite.
That could be the winner.
'Cause I feel like more people would buy flames. Like just yeah.
I can.
Go on.
I was just going to 855-752-4842. We got a couple of minutes left of audio survey. If you would like to share with us, no judgment. No judgment. Drunk online purchases. What was yours?
I will tell you the most, not shameful, the one that made me go, oh, dude, I have a problem. One night at home watching movies, I turned on a documentary about Frank Zappa. And Frank Zappa, if you're familiar, he played a very unique guitar. He played one kind of guitar generally, which was the Gibson SG.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go on eBay and I bought one. And let's just say that Gibson SGs are not what they call cheap.
No.
They are.
It's a nice guitar.
They're nice guitars. They start around, a U.S. made model starts around $800. And I did not buy the starter model.
Of course not.
And it came to, and it wasn't that I remember doing it. It's that thing though, when you woke up and the first thing I thought, like, oh no. And I bought it on, this wasn't Amazon. This wasn't a music store this was eBay. That purchase was done.
It's done. Yeah, you can't go back and change your mind.
Showed up and I was like, oh, this is a reminder to maybe just go to bed earlier.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Stay offline.
Yeah.
Chris Alfheim, the winner.
Yeah.
By far. We love
you can't beat a flamethrower.
The flamethrower
My
to
goodness.
Not at all.
kill the weeds. That's fantastic. Coming up, we will wrap up the show as we always do with this Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the Blueberry Hill edition. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer and Greg Bach and Sweet Galby on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. You got 7 minutes left to grab the Civic Media app on your phone. Open that up and text in the word SCORE, SCORE. Text in the word SCORE. You're in the running for a 4-pack of club-level tickets to see the Brewers host the Nationals this Sunday. Going to be a beautiful day for baseball. It really is. And the Brewers they're kind of looking good right now. So text in the word SCORE, SCORE. Tom Hartman will have a new word for you from 11 to 2. Todd Alba 2 to 4, and then Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. It is Free Ticket Fridays here on Civic Media. Also, she is watching on the live stream. Happy birthday, Sister Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Calvin, say happy birthday to my sister Kathy.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Kathy.
She made us do that.
Coming up on the show on Monday, I am very excited. Beyond the Cheese.
Yeah.
We're going Beyond the Cheese with the Canine Convoy out of Oconto, Wisconsin. And this young woman decided to start her own business, and she has a dog bus.
Yes.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Please go to Facebook right now. And if you don't have Facebook, sign up for Facebook right now and look at some of the cutest puppers on a bus. Puppers on a bus.
Pups on a bus.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the Canine Convoy, and she opened up her own kind of doggy daycare business. And so we're going to talk about that for Beyond the Cheese, where we highlight businesses outside of the dairy industry. If you have a business or a business owner you think would be good for this, let us know. You can always contact us at Jane Says at civicmedia.us, JANESAYS. Jane Says at civicmedia.us. Just about 10:55, Calvin. It's getting late, and it is time for
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
If you have a thing you think should not be, send it in to Greg and me at Jane Says at civicmedia.us. This from UPI. Our hero, Ben Hooper, with the byline, and the headline reads, Blueberry spill causes literal traffic jam.
Hey-o!
In British Columbia. Police in British Columbia said there was a traffic jam. It's in quotations. When a pickup truck lost its load of freshly picked blueberries. The white Ford pickup truck stopped at an intersection when the vehicle started moving again just a few minutes later. Several crates of blueberries just fell right off the back into the middle of the road. Some blueberry crates went crashing down onto the roadway. Thousands of blueberries spilling it across the highway, creating a sticky mess for vehicles that drove over the fruit. Local officers were called to the juicy incident.
Oh, my God.
I'm just reporting it. And used a shovel to push the blueberries out of the way. They say perhaps the team could have teamed up with a local farmer's market to feature some new offerings like jackknife jelly, pothole preserves, or the ever-popular traffic jam. You're not buying it.
No, here's the thing, Jane, is I feel like what we're not talking about this story is actually a very important component of the story with regard to the driver. I don't know if you had heard about him. The driver is trying to pay his bills, pay his mortgage, do the thing, live in this world, but unfortunately, a lot of people out in the world, they have to get more than one job. And this is his third job. People said he really spread himself thin.
Oh. I thought you were going to say he was looking for a thrill on Blueberry Hill.
Yeah, okay. Nope. I liked my joke better.
Fine, that's fine. That wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Yours was better.
Thank you.
Yes, as we said, we have Beyond the Cheese coming up on Monday. We have a busy week next week, and then we're going on the road.
We're going on the road with Todd Alba.
With Todd Alba, starting on Wednesday, we will be broadcasting live from the EAA Museum in Oshkosh. On Thursday, we're going to be in Butternut. Very excited about that. And then excited also on Friday, we'll be in Hayward.
And I totally forgot to mention, if you are living in the Milwaukee area or southeastern Wisconsin this Saturday, tomorrow, I will be doing a show at Comedy Sports called Laughing Liberally. It's stand-up. It's sketch. There's always an interview with a community leader.
Cool.
I've had Matthew Filipovich on the show before, and he's great. So it's a lot of fun. I believe it starts at 8 o'clock. Tickets are available, laughingliberallymke.com. But just, show up, come on out, and I'll be doing some stand-up. I forgot to talk about that.
Well, we could have talked about it before now.
I know, but, we just did. We just talked about it.
Well, we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
As well, if you would like more details, just go to civicmedia.us, click on shows, go to Matenaer On Air, and then we have an archive about 100 or so shows.
Yeah.
More than you could possibly want.
Boy, sounds great from a second runner-up award-winning show.
And if you're going to be in the area next week when we're on the road in Oshkosh or Butternut or in Haywood, we would love to meet you. So hopefully you can come out and say hi.
And please send us your suggestions on where to go. Cafes, coffee shops.
Ice cream,
restaurants, record
Pizza.
stores, pizza.
We're wide open.
Other places that serve food that Jane wants to eat. But yeah, let us know. Jane says at civicmedia.us. Or just text us while we're on the air.
Yep, that works too. Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers. Without you, nothing works. And thank you most of all for calling and for texting and for listening. It really does mean the world. We hope you find some joy over the weekend and you get the chance to share it. Keep it right here. We got news coming up next across the vast Civic Media Radio Network. We'll see you Monday.